Very much, Christoph, for this last presentation in this session. I think a number of issues have been raised. Quite a large variety of systems have been presented here, both from the perspective of the authorities and transport operators. For me, it was quite striking. If I take the case of the Italian Transport Authority and the detailed definition of indicators, and the way the Polish bus company in Warsaw looks at the way performance is measured. I will get back to this later on. There's quite a range of different options apparently. I don't want to ask questions now on my side. I hope some of you have questions or comments to make, not necessarily questions. So I would like to give you the floor first of all.
From Bulgaria, our team made the public service contract of most of the municipalities. So my question is it the bonus really of a national incentive? Why I'm asking that? Because the bonus under the regulation 1370 is to be considered an income. This was the opinion of the State Aid Department of the Bulgarian Ministry of Finance. As an income, the bonds will reduce the compensation. So the end result of this is not quite different. So what's your opinion of that?
Before Christoph makes, an informed statement on this, I find this comment really very interesting because the question very, very interesting because it shows, it really explains a little bit why there was such a discrepancy between the presentation of the detailed indicators in Italy and the apparently, at least that was my impression, very limited level of indicators applying in Warsaw. But please, Christoph.
Well, that's a widespread problem that you have in particular in directly awarded contracts. So we try to deal with it in two ways. One way is usually if we have a competitive contract, we define the level, that's less complicated, but the profit margin that is allowed will raise by the level of bonuses that you will get, and that's in line with state aid laws. So that I don't have worries about that. First thing. Second thing, which is typical case in Austria or Germany, that the operators that are directly awarded, municipal operators, are not allowed to make profits at all. So in this case, you're back to the non-financial incentives. Like we have one city where the council decided that every euro that was available because they were doing their work more efficiently was reinvested into the public transport network. So the market was grown. That's something like that. Or there is a second example where the bonus can be used to give the employees a premium at the end of the year. So it's spent to the employees, so it's available to the company. So if the company itself is not allowed to make profits.
I understood your question is to balance the bonus system with the state of 1370, no? Of regulation 1370.
My question? No, it's not so much to avoid whether is this really an incentive for the operator, because we're not talking about sanctions, but if the operator is not behaving and is not doing its job with very high quality, it will receive a compensation without the bonus. If the operator is doing well, the operator will receive bonus, but this will decrease the compensation. So the final result of this is that the operator will receive one and the same sum, almost. And whether this is really an incentive for the operator to give better quality of its service.
Yes, in Italy. To solve this problem, in a recent document of Transport National Authority, so the antitrust of transport, it was introduced for public serving contract, it's compulsory, the price cap system. So to solve this problem is to work not for compensation but on fares. So the dynamics of fares, of prices, are regulated through a formula, which in this formula there is the inflation rate and plus a Q. Q is quality. So if the public service company reach these quality objectives, this quality performance, there is the public transport operators has the chance to rise the price level. So the bonus is on the fair level, not on the compensation.
I suppose I understand your Ministry of Finance, but because the 1370 regulations knows that any donations from public states, yes, of course, it can be done by overcompensation. But how to solve this problem? From our experience, that either we will make higher the compensation, or we reduced any limitation on reasonable profit. It can be done, but you must discuss with your Ministry of Finance.
I can imagine that you opt for the latter, which is pretty natural. But I think we have to. Apparently, it's not so easy to really resolve the question raised in two sentences. So I really would like to consult with you also bilaterally later on, and to try to find ways of how to address this, which is a quite serious impediment, I would say, in implementing performance incentive system. Other comments, other questions, Jan?
Yeah, thank you very much. I feel appealed, to answer to this question, because this is an issue which the Commission has looked at in its interpretive guidelines on the application of Regulation 3070. And in these guidelines you will find a section about efficiency improvement schemes that, of course, are encouraged to be put in place by competent authorities when they contract for the delivery of public transport services. And, of course, it is clear one of the objectives of this regulation is to avoid overcompensation, so that to avoid state aids on an internal market. But, of course, the question that you asked, if we would just clearly say all bonuses that may be received in the framework of an efficiency improvement scheme are considered as income that should be, let's say, deduced from the compensation that the transport operator would receive from the authority, then the incentive effect of the scheme, would be reduced to zero. So that is the reason why the Commission, in an act of trying to balance the different objectives of this legal framework, has opted for the formulation that in such a situation a reasonable arbitrage of sharing the benefits of improved efficiencies by the public transport operator among all actors, including the authorities, the passengers, and also the operator, that should, let's say, retain part of the efficiency gains, so that the incentive effect still is maintained, but clearly it cannot, let's say, there cannot be a situation where all the efficiency gains would immediately fall to the operator, because then, let's say, the